Act 3. Yeah.
Scene 1, the same. Enter Don Adriano de Armado and Moth.
Okay. Warble child, what passionate my sense of hearing.
Cocolino.
Sweet sir, go tenderness of years. Take this key, give enlargement to the swain, bring him festinately hither. Oh, I like that word. It must employ him in a letter to my love.
Master, you will win your love with a French brawl?
How meanest thou? Brawling in French?
No, my complete master, but to jig off a tune at the tongue's end, canary to it with your feet, humor it with turning up your eyelids, sigh a note and sing a note, sometime through the throat, as if you swaddled love with singing love, sometimes through the nose, as if you snuffed up love by smelling love, with your hat penthouse-like o'er the shop of your eyes, with your arms crossed on your thin belly, doublet like a rabbit on a spit, or your hands in your pocket like a man after the old painting. And keep not too long in one tune, but a snip and away. These are compliments. These are humors. These betray nice wenches. That would be betrayed without these, and make them men of note. Do you note me? That most are affected to these?
How hast thou purchased this experience?
By my penny of observation.
But oh,
The hobby horse is forgot?
canst thou call my love hobby horse?
No, master. The hobby horse is but a colt, and your love perhaps a hackney. But have you forgot your love?
Almost I had.
Negligent student. Learn her by heart.
By heart and in heart, boy.
And out of heart, master. All those three I will prove.
What wilt thou prove?
A man, if I live. And this by, in, and without, upon the instant. By heart you love her, because your heart cannot come by her. In heart you love her, because your heart is in love with her. And out of heart you love her, being out of heart that you cannot enjoy her.
I am all these three.
And 3 times as much more, and yet nothing at all.
Fetch hither the swain, he must carry me a letter.
A message well sympathized, a horse to be ambassador for an ass.
Huh? What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for he's very slow-gaited. But I go.
The way is but short. Away!
As swift as lead, sir.
Thy meaning, pretty ingenuous, is not lead a metal heavy, dull, and slow?
Me, honest master, or rather, master, no.
I say lead is slow.
You're too swift, sir, to say so. Is that lead slow which is fired from a gun?
Sweet smoke of rhetoric. He reputes me a cannon, and the bullet, that's he. I shoot thee at the swain.
Don't then, and I flee.
A most acute juvenile, voluble, and free of grace. By thy favor, sweet welkin, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude, melancholy, valor give thee place. My herald is returned.
A wonder, master. Here's a Costard broken in a shin.
Sweet enigma, come, riddle, come, thy d'envoi, begin.
No enigma, no riddle, no l'envoi, no solve in the mail. Sir, oh, sir, platane, a plain platane. No levoy, no solve, sir, but a plantain.
By virtue, thou enforcest laughter. Thy silly thoughts and my spleen. The heavying of my lungs provokes me to ridiculous smiling. Oh, pardon me, my stars. Doth the inconsiderate take salve for l'envoi, and the word l'envoi for a salve?
Do the wise think their mother? Is not l'envoi a salve?
No, page, it is the epilogue of a discourse to make plain some obscure precedents that hath before been seen. I will example it. The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but three. There's the moral. Now, the envoy.
I will add the l'envoi. Say the moral again.
The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but three.
Until the goose came out of door and stayed the odds by adding 4. Now will I begin your moral. And do you follow with my l'envoi? The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but 3.
Until the goose came out of door, staying the odds by adding 4.
A good l'envoi ending in the goose. Would you desire more?
Boy.
The boy has sold him a bargain, a goose that's flat. Sir, your pennyworth is good, and your goose be fat. To sell a bargain well is as cunning as fast and loose. Let me see, a fat l'envoi. Aye, that's a fat goose.
Come hither, come hither. How did this argument begin?
By saying that Costard was broken in a shin, then called you for the l'envoi.
True, and I for plantain. Thus came your argument in. The boy's fat l'envoi, the goose that you bought, and he ended the market.
But tell me, how was there a Costard broken in a shin?
I will tell you sensibly.
Thou hast no feeling of it, Moth. I will speak the l'envoi. I, Costard, running out, that was safely within, fell over the threshold and broke my shin.
We will talk more of this matter.
Till there be more matter in the shin.
Sirrah Costard, I will enfranchise thee.
Oh, marry me one, Francis. I smell some l'envoi, some goose in this.
By my sweet soul, I mean setting thee at liberty and freedoming thy person. Thou wert imbued, restrained, and captivated, bound.
True, true. And now you will be my purgation and let me loose.
I give thee thy liberty and set thee from durance. And, in lieu thereof, impose on thee nothing but this. Bear this significant in the country-made Jaquenetta. To the country-made Jaquenetta. There is a remuneration, for the best ward of mine honor is rewarding my dependence. Mote, follow.
It's Moth. like the sequel. I, Signor Costard, adieu.
My sweet ounce of man's flesh, my inconny Jew. Now will I look to his remuneration. Remuneration. Oh, that's the Latin. Remuneration. Oh, that's the Latin word for 3 farthings. 3 farthings. Remuneration.
Remuneration.
That's the price of this inkle? 1 penny? No, I'll give you a remuneration. Why, it carries it. Remuneration. Why, it is a fairer name than French crown. I will never buy and sell out of this word.
Oh, my good knave, Costard, exceedingly well met.
I pray you, sir, how much carnation ribbon may a man buy for a remuneration?
What is a remuneration?
Marry, sir, halfpenny farthing.
What? Why then 3 farthings worth of silver.
I thank your worship. God be with you.
Stay, slave. I must employ thee. As thou wilt win my favor, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
When would you have it done, sir?
This afternoon.
Well, I will do it, sir. Fare you well.
Thou knowest not what it is.
I shall know, sir, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, slave, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park. And in her train there is a gentle lady whose tongues speak sweetly. Then they name her name, and Rosaline they call her, ask for her, and to her white hand see thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy guerdon. Go.
Guerdon. Oh, sweet guerdon. Better than remuneration. 11 pence farthing better. Oh, sweet guerdon. I will do it, sir, in print. Guerdon. Remuneration.
I am forsooth in love. I that have been love's whip, a very beadle to a humorous sigh, a critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pendant o'er the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent, this wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this senior, junior, giant, dwarf, Dan, Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, liege of all loiterers and malcontents, dread prince of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator and great general of trotting peritors, oh my little heart, and I to be a corporal of his field and wear his colors like a tumbler's hoop. What? I love, I sue, I seek a life, a wife, a woman that is like a German clock, still repairing, ever out of frame and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched, that it may still go right, nay, to be perjured, which is worst of all, and among three to love the worst of all, a whitely wanton with a velvet brow, with 2 pitch balls stuck in her face for eyes. Ah, by heaven, one that will do the deed, though Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her. Go to it as a plague, that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty dreadful little might. Well, I will love, right, sigh, pray, sue, and groan. Some men must love my lady, and some Joan. Act 4.
Okay.
Scene 1. Enter the princess and her train, a forester, Boyette, Rosaline, Maria, and Catherine.
Was that the king that spurred his horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoe'er it was that showed a mounting mind. Well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch, or Saturday we will return to France. Then, forester, my friend, where is the bush that we must stand and play the murderer in?
Hereby, upon the edge of yonder coppice, a stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I thank my beauty, for I am fair that shoot, and thereupon thou speakest the fairest shoot.
Pardon me, madame, for I meant not so.
What? First praise me, and again say no? O short-lived pride! Not fair? Alack for woe!
Yes, madame, fair.
Nay, never paint me now where fair is not. Praise cannot mend the brow. Here, good my glass, take this for telling true. Fair payment for foul words is more than due.
Nothing but fair is that which you inherit.
See, my beauty will be saved by the merit. O heresy and fair, fit for these days. A giving hand, though foul, shall have fair praise. But come, the bow. Now mercy goes to kill, and shooting well is then accounted ill. Thus will I save my credit in the shoot. Not wounding, pity would not let me do't. If wounding, then it was to shew my skill, that more for praise than purpose meant to kill. And out of question, so it is sometimes, glory grows guilty of detested crimes, when for fame's sake, for praise and outward part, we bend to that the working of the heart, and I for praise alone now seek to spill the poor dear's blood, that my heart means no ill.
Do not cursed wives hold that self-sovereignty only for praise sake when they strive to be lords or lords?
Only for praise, and praise we may afford to any lady that subdues a lord.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
God dig you den all. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her, fellow, by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady? The highest?
The thickest and the tallest.
Thickest and the tallest. It is so. Truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit. One of these maids' girdles for your waist should be fit. Are not you the chief woman? Are you the thickest here?
What's your will, sir? What's your will?
I have a letter from Monsieur Biron and to one Lady Rosalind.
Oh, thy letter, thy letter. He's a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boyer, you can carve break upon this capon.
I am bound to serve. This letter is mistook. It importuneth none here. It is writ to Jaconetta.
We will read it. I swear, break the neck of the wax. Everyone give ear.
By heaven that thou art fair is most infallible. True, that thou art beauteous. Truth itself, that thou art lovely. More fairer than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy heroical vassal. The magnanimous and most illustrious King Cophetua set eye upon the pernicious and indubitable beggar Xenolephon, and he it was that might rightly say, Veni, vidi, vici, which to anathemize in the vulgar, O base and obscure vulgar, videlicet. He came, saw, and overcame. He came one, saw two, overcame three. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What say ye, the beggar? Who overcame he? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king's. The captive is enriched. On whose side? The beggar's. The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one, or one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witnesses thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags? Robes? For tittles? Titles? For thyself? Me? Thus, expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. Thine is the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano de Armado. Thus thou hear the lion roar. Against thee, thou lamb, that standest as his prey. Submissive fall his princely feet before, and he from forage will incline to play. But if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for his rage, repasture for his den.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vane, what weathercock? Did you ever hear better?
I am much deceived, but I remember the style.
Else your memory is bad. Going over it is erewhile.
This Armado is a Spaniard that keeps here in court, a phantisme, a monarcho, one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmates.
Thou fellow, a word, who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
To whom shouldst thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
from my lord Biron, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosalind.
Thou hast mistaken his letter. Come, lords, away. Here, sweet, put this up. 'Twill be thine another day.
Who is the suitor? Who is the suitor?
Shall I teach you to know?
Ah, my continent of beauty.
Why she that bears the bow finally put off.
My lady goes to kill horns, but if thou marry, hang me by the neck. If horns that year miscarry, finally put on.
Well then, I'm the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose to be by the horns yourself, come not near, finally put on indeed.
See, Maria.
You still wrangle with her, Boyet, and she strikes at the brow.
But she herself is hit lower. Have I hit her now?
Shall I come upon thee with an old saying that was a man who King Pepin of France was a little boy as touching the hit it?
So I may answer thee with one as old that was a woman when Queen Guinevere of Britain was a little wench as touching the hit it.
Thou canst not hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Thou canst not hit it, my good man.
And I cannot, and I cannot, another can.
By my troth, most pleasant, how both did fit it.
A mark marvelous well shot, for they both did hit it.
A mark, oh, mark, put that mark. A mark, says my lady. Let the mark have a prick in it to meet at, if it may be.
Wide o' the bow hand, I faith your hand is out.
Indeed, I must shoot nearer, or he'll ne'er hit the clout.
And if my hand be out, then be like your hand is in.
Then will she get the upshoot by cleaving the pin.
Come, you talk greasily, your lips grow foul.
But she's too hard for you at pricks, sir. Challenge her to bowl.
I fear too much rubbing. Good night, my good Al.
By my soul, a swain, a most simple clown. Lord, how the ladies and I have put him down. Oh, my troth, most sweet jests, most inconny vulgar wit. When it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely, as it were, so fit. Armado on the one side. Oh, a most dainty man. To see him walk before a lady and to forbear her fan. To see him kiss his hand, and how most sweetly I will swear, and his page on the other side, a handful of wit. Ah, heavens, it is most pathetic knit. Sola.
Oh,
Scene 2. The same. Enter Holofen, Sir Nathaniel, and Doe.
Very reverend sport, truly, and done in the testimony of a good conscience.
The deal was, as you know, sanguis in blood, ripe as the palm water, who now hangeth like a jewel in the ear of the Calio, the sky, like welkin, the heaven, and anon falleth like a crab on the face of Terra, the soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Master Holofernes, the epithets are sweetly varied, like a scholar at the least. But, sir, I assure ye, it was a buck of the first head.
Sir Nathaniel Hod Credo,
Was not Hodu Credo, was a pricket.
most barbarous imitation, yet a kind of insinuation, as it were, in way of explication, a facere, as it were, replication, or rather, ostinatere, to show, as it were, his inclination, after his undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unpruned, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion to insert my hand hard credo for a deer.
I said the deer was not a credo, was a pricket.
Twice sod simplicity, his coctus. O thou monster ignorance, how deformed doth thou look!
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are bred in a book. He hath not eat paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He is only an animal, not only sensible in the duller parts, and such barren plants are set before us that we thankful should be, which we of taste and feeling are, for those parts that do fructify in us more than he. For as it would be ill become me to be vain, indiscreet, or fool, so were there a patch set on learning to see him in a school. But omne bene, say I, being of an old father's mind, many can brook the weather that love not the wind.
You two are bookmen. Can you tell me by your wit what was a month old at Cain's birth that's not 5 weeks old as yet?
Dictina, Mendel. Dictina, good Mendel.
What is dictima?
A title to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
The moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and wrought not to 5 weeks when he came to 60. The illusion holds in the exchange.
'Tis true indeed. The collusion holds in the exchange.
God comfort thy capacity. I say the illusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the pollution holds in the exchange, for the moon is never but a month old. And I say, besides that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of a deer? And to humor the ignorant, shall I call the deer the princess killed a pricket?
Purge, good Master Holofernes, purge, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect the letter. For it argues facility. The prayful princess pierced and pricked a pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to soar, then sorrel jumps from thicket, or pricket sore, or else sorrel, the people falling a hooting. If sore be sore, then L to sore makes 50 sores, 1 sore L. If 1 sore I and 100 make by adding 1 more L.
Oh, rare talent!
If a talent be a claw, look how he claws into worth a talent.
This is a gift that I have. Simple, a foolish, extravagant spirit, full of forms, figures, shapes, objects, ideas, apprehensions, motions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory, nourished in the womb of pia mater, and delivered upon the mellowing of occasion. But the gift is good in those in whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
Sir, I praise the Lord for you, and so may my parishioners. For their sons are well tutored by you, and their daughters profit very greatly under you. You are a good member of the Commonwealth.
Maherkel, if their sons be ingenuous, they shall want no instruction. But if their daughters be capable, I will put it to them. But vir sapi qui poche laquiter, a soul feminine saluteth thus us.
God give you good morrow, Master Person.
Master Parson, quasi per an, and if one should be pierced, which is the one? Marry master, schoolmaster, that is liketh to a hogshed. Piercing a hogshed, a good lustre is of conceit, in trough of earth, fire enough for flint, pearl enough for a swine. 'Tis pretty, it is well.
Good Master Person, be so good as read me this letter. It was given me by Costard and sent me from Don Armado. I beseech you, read it.
Fauste pecor gilda quando peccas omne sub ombra ruminat, and so forth. Ah, good old Mantuan, I may speak of thee as the traveler doth of Venice, Venetia, Ci no ti vene non depretia. Old Mantuan, who understandeth thee not, loves thee not. Ut sol la fi ma. Under pardon, sir, what are these contents? Or rather, as Horace says in his, what, my soul, verses?
Aye, sir, and very learned.
Let me hear a staff, a stanza, a verse, a leg, a domine.
If love make me if love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his bias leaves, make his book thine eyes. Were all those pleasures live that art would comprehend? If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend, all ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice his dreadful thunder, which not to anger bent is music and sweet fire. Celestial as thou art, oh, pardon, love, this wrong that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue.
You find not the apostrophos, and so miss the accent. Let me supervise the canzonet. Here are only numbers ratified, but for the elegancy, facility, and golden cadence of poesy, karat, of the dies naso was the man. And why, indeed, not so, but for smelling out the odoriferous flowers of fancy, the jerks of invention. Imitary is nothing, so doth the hound his master, the ape his keeper, the tired horse his rider. But, damsela virgin, was this directed to you?
Aye, sir, from one Monsieur Biron, one of the strange queen's lords.
I will overglance the superscript to the snow-white hand of the most beauteous lady, Rosalind. I will look again on the intellect of this letter for the nomination of the party writing to the person written unto, your ladyship in all desired employment, Biron. Sir Nathaniel, this Biron is one of the votaries with the king, and here he hath framed a letter to the sequent of this stranger's queens, which accidentally, or by the way of progression, hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet, deliver this paper to the royal hand of the king. It may concern much. Say not thy compliment, forgive thy duty, adieu.
Good Costard, go with me, sir. God save your life.
Have with thee, my girl.
Sir, you have done this in the fear of God, very religiously, and as a certain father saith,
So tell me not to the Father, I do colorable colors. But to return to the verses, did they please you, Sir Nathaniel?
marvelous well for the pen.
I do dine today at the father of a certain pupil of mine, where, if before repast it shall please you to gratify the table with a grace, I will, on my privilege I have with the parents of the foresaid child or pupil, undertake your benvenuto, where I will prove those verses to be very unlearned, neither savoring of poetry, wit, or nor invention. I beseech your society.
And thank you too, for society, saith the text, is the happiness of life.
And certes, the text most infallibly concludes it. Duh, sir, I do invite you. You shall not say me ne posse verba. Away! The gentles are there at their game, and we will to our recreation.
Scene 3, the same. The king, he is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil. I am toiling in a pitch that defiles. Defile, foul word. Well, set thee down, sorrow, for so they say the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool. Well-proved wit, by the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills sheep. It kills me. I am a sheep. Well proved again, O my side, I will not love. If I do hang me, faith, I will not. Oh, but her eye, by this light, but for her eye, I would not love her, yes, for her 2 eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love, and it hath taught me to rhyme and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme. And here's my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady, by the world, I would not care a pin if the other 3 were in. Here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
Ay me.
Shot by heaven. Proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt under the left pap. In faith, secrets.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose as thy eye beams, when their fresh rays have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows, nor shines the silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep, no drop but as a coach doth carry thee. So ridest thou, triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not thy love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. O Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll stop the paper. Sweet leaves, shade, folly. Who is he comes here? What? Longueville and reading. Listen, here.
Now, in thy likeness, one more fool appear.
Aye, me. I am forsworn.
Why, he comes in like a perjurer, wearing papers.
In love, I hope, sweet fellowship and shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that I have been perjured so?
I could put thee in comfort, not by 2 that I know. Thou makest thy triumphery the corner cap of society, the shape of love's Tyburn that hangs up simplicity.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Oh, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers I will tear and write in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanton Cupid's hose. Disfigure not his slop.
This same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, gainst whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapor is. Then thou, fair sun, on which my earth doth shine, exaltest this vapor vow, in thee it is. If broken then, it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath and win a paradise?
This is the liver vein which makes flesh a deity, a green goose, a goddess, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend, we are much out of the way.
By whom shall I send this? Company, stay.
All hid, in old infant play. Like a demigod, here sit I in the sky, and wretched fool's secret heedfully o'er I. More sacks to the mill, O heaven, I have my wish. Domain transformed 4 woodcocks in a dish.
O most divine Kate,
O most profound coxcomb,
by heaven, the wonder and immortal eye.
by earth she is not corporal, there you lie.
Her amber hairs for foul hath amber quoted,
An amber-colored raven was well noted.
as upright as the cedar,
Stoop, I say, her shoulder is with child.
as fair as day.
Aye, some days, but then no sun must shine.
Oh, that I had my wish!
And I had mine.
And I mine too, good Lord.
Amen. So I had mine. Is not that a good word?
I would forget her but a fever she reigns in my blood and will be remembered be.
A fever in your blood. Why, then incision would let her out in saucers. Sweet misprision.
Oh, one more and I'll read the ode that I have writ.
Once more I'll mark how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack the day, love, whose month is ever May, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Through the velvet leaves the wind, still unseen, can passage find, that the lover, sick to death, wished himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks may blow, ere would I my trumpets triumph so. But, alack, my hand is sworn, ne'er to pluck thee from thine thorn. The vow, alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me that I am forsworn for thee. Thou, for whom Jove would swear Juno but an Ethiop were, and deny himself for love, turning mortal for thy love. This I will send, and something else more plain, that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the king, Biron, and Longueville were lovers too. Ill to example ill, would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend where all alike do dote.
Domain, thy love is far from charity. You may look pale, but I should blush, I know, to be overheard and taken napping so.
Come, sir, you blush, as your case is such. You chided him, offending twice as much. You do not love Maria, Longueville. Longueville did never sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay his wreathed arms athwart his loving bosom to keep down his heart. I have been closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you, noted well your passion. Ay me, says one, oh Jove, the other cries. One, her hairs were gold, crystal, the other's eyes. You would for paradise break faith and troth, and Jove for your love would infringe an oath. What will Biron say when he shall hear faith so infringed, which such zeal did swear? How will he scorn? How will he spend his wit? How will he triumph, leap and laugh at it? For all the wealth that ever I did see, I would not have him know so much by me.
Now step I forth to whip hypocrisy. Good my liege, I pray thee pardon me. Good heart, what grace hath thou thus to reprove these worms for loving? Thou art most in love. Your eyes do make no coaches in your tears. There is no certain princess that appears. You'll not be perjured, 'tis a hateful thing. Tush, none but minstrels like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not? All three of you to be thus much overshot. You found his mote, the king your mote did see, but I a bean do find in each of three. Oh, what a scene of foolery have I seen, of sighs and groans, of sorrow and of tea. Oh, me, with what strict patience have I sat to see a king transformed to a gnat, to see great Hercules whipping a gig, and profound Solomon to tune a jig, and Nestor play at pushpin with the boys, and critic Timon laugh at idle toys. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good Drumaine, and gentle Loganville, where lies thy pain? And where, my liege, all about the breast a coddle? Oh.
Too bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus in thy overview?
Not you to me, but I betrayed by you. I, that am honest, I, that hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with men like men of inconstancy. When shall you see me write a thing in rhyme, or roam for love, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Soft, whither away so fast? A true man or a thief that gallops so?
I post from love. Good lover, let me go.
God bless the king.
What present hast thou there?
Some certain treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing neither, the treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our person needs doubted. What's treason? He said.
Biron, read it over. Where hadst thou it?
Of Costard.
Where hadst thou it?
Of Don Armado, Don da Drama Dio.
How now? What is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
It did move him to passion, and therefore let's hear it.
It is Biron's writing, and here it is his name.
Oh, you whoresome loggerhead. You were born to do me shame. Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me fool to make up the mess. He, and you, my liege, and I are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. Oh, dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
Now the number is even.
True, we are four. Will these turtles be gone?
Hence, sirs, away.
Walk aside the true folk and let the traitors stay.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, oh, let us embrace. As true we are as flesh and blood can be. The sea will ebb and flow, heaven shows his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we were born. Therefore of all hands must we be forsworn.
What, did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you, who sees the heavenly Rosalind, that like a rude and savage man of Inde, at the first opening of the gorgeous east, bows not his vassal's head, and shrunken blind kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory eagle-sighted eye dares look upon the heaven of her brow that is not blinded by her majesty?
What zeal, what fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress is a gracious moon, she an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I Biron. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions, the colored sovereignty do meet at a fair in her fair cheek, where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that wants itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues. Fie, painted rhetoric, oh, she needs it not. To things of sale a seller praises belong. She passes praise, then praise too short doth block. A withered hermit, 50 winters worn, might shake off 50, looking in her eye. Beauty doth varnish age, as if newborn, and gives the crutch that cradles infancy. Oh, 'tis the sun that maketh all things shine.
By heaven, thy love is black as ebony.
Is ebony like her? O wood divine, a wife of such wood were felicity. Oh, who can give an oath? Where is a book that I may swear beauty doth beauty lack? If that she learn not of her eye to look, no face is fair that is not full so black.
Ah, paradox! Black is the badge of hell, the hue of dungeons and the suit of night, and beauty's crest becomes the heaven's well.
Devils soonest tempt, resembling spirits of light. Oh, if in black my lady's brows be decked, it mourns the painting and usurping hair, should ravish doters with false aspect, and therefore is she born to make black fair. Her favor turns the fashion of the days, for native blood is counted painting now, and therefore red that would avoid dispraise paints itself black to imitate her brow.
To look like her, chimney sweeper's black.
And since her time are colliers counted bright.
And Ethiops of their sweet complexion crack.
Dark needs no candles now, for dark is light.
Your mistresses dare never come in rain, for fear their colors should be washed away.
'Twere good yours did, for, sir, to tell you plain, I'll find a fairer face not washed today.
I'll prove her fair, or talk till doomsday here.
No devil will fright thee then so much as she.
I never knew man could hold vile stuff so dear.
Look, here's thy love, my foot and her face, see?
Oh, if the streets were paved with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such tread.
Oh, vile! Then as she goes, what upward lies the street should see as she walked overhead.
But what of this? Are we not all in love?
Nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and good Biron, now prove our loving awful, and not faith, and our faith not torn.
Aye, marry, there's some flattery for this evil.
Oh, some authority how to proceed, some tricks, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
himself for perjury.
'Tis more than need. Have at you then, affection's men at arms. Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Flat treason gainst the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. And where that you have vowed to study, lords, in that each of you have forsworn his book, can you still dream and pore and thereon look? For when would you, my lord, or you, have found the ground of study's excellence without the beauty of a woman's face? Why, universal plodding poisons up the nimble spirits in the arteries, as motion and long-during action tires the sinewy vigor of the travelers. Now, for not looking on a woman's face, you have in that forsworn the use of eyes, and study too the causer of your vow. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourselves, and where we are, our learning likewise is. Then, when ourselves we see in ladies' eyes, do we not likewise see our learning there? Oh, we have made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my liege, or you, in leaden contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with? Others slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding a barren practicer, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power above their functions and their offices. It adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eyes will gaze an eagle blind. A lover's ear will hear the lowest sound, where the suspicious head of theft is stopped. Love's feeling is more soft and sensible than are the tender horns of cockle snails. Love's tongue proves dainty Bacchus gross in taste. For valor is not love a Hercules, still climbing trees in the Hesperides, subtle as a sphinx, as sweet and musical as bright Apollo's lute, strung with his hair. And when love speaks, the voice of all the gods makes heaven drowsy with the harmony. Never durst poet touch a pen to write until his ink were tempered with love's sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears, and plant in tyrants mild humility. From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They sparkle still the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academies that show, contain, and nourish all the world, else none at all and not proves excellent. Then fools you were these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn, you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men. Or for men's sake, the author of these women, or women's sake, by whom we men are men. Let us once lose our oath to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law, and who can sever love from charity?
Saint Cupid, then, and soldiers to the field.
Advance your standards upon them, lords. Pell-mell, down with them. But be first advised in conflict that you get the son of them.
Now, to plain dealing, lay these glosses by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
And win them too. Therefore, let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First, from the park, let us conduct them thither. Then homeward, every man attach the hand of his fair mistress. In the afternoon, we will with some strange pastime solace them, such as the shortness of the time can shape, for revels, dances, mass, and merry hours. For run, fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Away, away, no time shall be omitted. That will be time, and may by us be fitted.
Alone, alone, sowed cockle, reaped no corn, and justice always whirls in equal measure. Light wenches may prove plagues to men forsworn. If so, our copper buys no better treasure. Act 5. Scene 1, the same. Enter Holofernes, Sir Nathaniel, and Dull.
Satis quod sufficit.
I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's, who is entitled, nominated, or called Don Adriano de Armado.
Novi hominum tanquam te. His humor is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, his general behavior vain, ridiculous, thrasonical. He is too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too pegnogranate, as I may call it.
Yes.
A most singular and choice epithet.
He draweth out the thread of his verbosity finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fantastical phantasmas, such insociable and point-devised companions, such racklers of ornithography as to speak doubt fine when he should say doubt that, when he should pronounce bet D-E-B-T, not D-E-T. He cleft the calf, cough, hoth, hoff, neighbors, wanger, nebo, ne, abbreviated ni. This is abominable, which he would call abominable. It is in sooth me, insinueth me of insani, ani intelligis domini, to make fantastic lunatic.
Laus Deo bene intelligio.
Bon, faux bon, precision, a little scratched, to serve.
Videsne qui venit.
Video e guadio.
Peter.
Oh, Chira.
Que chira, not sirrah.
Men of peace, well encountered.
Most military, sir, salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen scraps.
Oh, that have lived long on an alms basket of words. I marvel thy master hath not eaten thee for a word. For thou hast not so long by the head as honor for kabilka to live the.
Say that again.
Honorific abilitudinous.
Honorific kabiltudinanitudinous. Thou art easier swallowed than a flap dragon.
Peace. The peel begins.
Monsieur, are you not lettered?
Yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is A? B, spelt backward, with the horn on his head.
Bah! Punateria with horn added.
Ah, most silly sheep with a horn. You're here, you hear this, his learning.
Kiss, thou consonant.
The third of the 5 vowels, if you repeat them, or the 5th, if I.
I will repeat them. A, E, I.
The sheep. The other two concludes it. O-U.
Now, by the smallest wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venue of wit, snip, snap, quick and home. It rejoiceth my intellect, true wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit old.
What is the figure? What is the figure?
Horns.
Thou disputeth like an infant. Go, whip thy gig.
Lend me your horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy circumcirca a gig of a cuckold's horn.
And I had but 1 penny in the world. Thou shouldst have to buy gingerbread. Oh, there is a very remuneration I had of thy master, thou halfpenny person wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, and the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard. What a joyful father thou'st make me. Go to, thou hast it, add dunghill at the fingers, ends, as they say. Oh, I smell false Latin dunghill for dunghill.
Artsman, preambulate. We will be singulated from the barbarous. Do you not educate youth at the charge house on the top of the mountain?
Or Mons, the hill?
Well, at your sweet pleasure for the mountain.
I do, sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day, which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
The posterior of the day, most gracious sir, is liable, congruent, and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well called, coarse, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir, I do assure.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure you, my very good friend. For what is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head. And among other important and most serious designs, and of great import indeed too, but let that pass. For I must tell thee, it will please his grace by the world, sometimes to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal finger, thus daily with my excrement, with my mustachio. But, sweetheart, let that pass. By the world, I recount no fable. Some certain special honors it pleaseth his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel, that hath seen the world. But let that pass. The very all of it is, but sweetheart, I do employ secrecy, that the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation, or show, or pageant, or antic, or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good with such eruptions and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you withal to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies. Sir, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of this day, to be rendered by our assistants at the king's command, and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princes, I say none so fit to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua, yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman, Judas Maccabeus, this swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass as Pompey the Great, the page Hercules.
Oh, pardon, sir, pardon, error. He is not quantity enough for that worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club.
Shall I have audience? He shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake. I now will have an apology for that purpose.
An excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Hercules! Now thou crushest the snake." That is the way to make an offense gracious, though few have the grace to do it.
For the rest of the worthies?
I will play 3 myself.
Thrice worthy gentlemen.
Shall I tell you a thing?
We attend.
We will have, if this fadge not, an antic. I beseech you, follow.
Dear goodman Dull, thou hast spoken no word of all this while? Dull?
Not understood, none, neither, sir.
Alonso, we will employ thee.
I'll make one in a dance or so, or I will play on the tabor of the worthies and let them dance the hay.
Most dull, honest Dull. To our sport, away!
Scene 2, the same. Enter the Princess Catherine, Rosalind, and Maria.